What's going on, Jerome's? One of the ongoing storylines this offseason is, are the Vikings going to trade Dalvin Cook? Now, specifically, are they going to trade him to the Dolphins or another running back needy team? Will the Vikings just have to straight up cut him? I don't think that they'll cut him because the leverage in negotiations is being able to walk away, and the Vikings certainly have the budget to have Dalvin Cook back in 2023. They have the leverage because he's under contract, so I think that the Vikings could actually during the draft be able to get decent return, or like, we're not talking about McCaffrey return, but maybe a day 2 selection, and specifically out of the Miami Dolphins, because reportedly Dolphins are in. This is from Dolphins Nation, a Dolphins blog. So this is like a game of telephone. According to ESPN, via Bleacher Report, via Dolphin Nation. It's that time of year, man. But yes, we did look this up, and yes, it is from ESPN. Some sources believe the Dolphins could get aggressive and make a play for Dalvin Cook if the Vikings signal they're ready to move on from him by drafting another running back. And I don't even think that they need to draft a running back per se. I think the Vikings running back room with Madison, who was re-signed, Ty Chandler, who they believe in a lot in year 2, and Kinkene Nwangu, is a relatively good running back room right now. And they don't necessarily need to spend a high draft pick on a running back, although they've done a lot of work on Jahmyr Gibbs reportedly. Dwayne McBride has been in the building as well. So I think that a deal could get done, but we'll get into our specific prediction here in a second. But Dalvin, due $10.4 million, $2 million of it is guaranteed. The Vikings would save $7.9 million if they trade him, $5.9 if they cut him, blah, 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 blah. And the Dolphins right now, so they don't have a lot of draft picks either. So their first rounder got forfeited. But they have a second, third, a fifth, and a seventh. So I actually think what could happen is if Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from Alabama, where Bijan Robinson is going to be long gone, right? So I think there's a top 2 running back draft, and then it's everyone else who's kind of nice in the mid tiers. But I think if Jahmyr Gibbs off the board when the Dolphins draft at 51, I think they trade that pick for Dalvin. And Gibbs could be a first round pick. Hell, the Vikings may take Gibbs at 23 just to say F you to the Dolphins, which would be hilarious. But I think if the Dolphins don't have a realistic shot to trade up to go get Gibbs, I think they could flip 51 to the Vikings, which would fit in perfectly since the Vikings don't have a second-round pick right now. But also, think about back this offseason. Nothing Dalvin has done has signaled that he's going to be a part of the team in 2023. Absolutely nothing. So looking back, reportedly, this is back in February, that Dalvin would not be inclined to take a pay cut from his 10.4. Okay, that's fine. And then Dalvin delayed shoulder surgery by a number of weeks. Not saying, I'm just saying, but when he couldn't pass a physical on the 3rd day of the new league year, $2 million of his base salary became fully guaranteed. So I see that more as a business move. So it is relatively shrewd. So hats off to number 4. But and then during voluntary workouts, he was at a fishing tournament, which I understand. It's voluntary, bro. It's voluntary. But the Vikings had almost like a 95% participation rate in voluntary workouts, and a lot of veterans were there. Dalvin does have a workout bonus, and he was sending a message. Like, no veterans turn down 50 or 100,000 just by working out, something that they're doing anyway. They don't do that unless they're trying to send a message. Also, Dalvin is a team captain. He's a team leader, so him not being at voluntary workouts, that's saying something. And then lastly, the whole Dalvin post on Instagram, covering up the Vikings logo, him at the Pro Bowl, 4th straight Pro Bowl, by the way, with a smiley face with the sunglasses. Again, Florida sunshine, is that what's going on with the sunglasses? I don't know. But, Dalvin easily could come out and say, I'm not leaving. And also, it's very noteworthy that Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, who, the Vikings are going to get back to running the football in 2023, where they bring in Josh Oliver, they re-signed CJ Ham, they re-signed Alexander Madison. They're going to dedicate themselves to running the football, and they've had several opportunities this offseason to be like, hey, Dalvin Cook is our guy. They didn't do it. They did not do it. So I think all signs point to the Vikings and Dalvin divorcing this offseason. I think it's going to happen in day 2. So I think what's going to happen is that Dalvin is going to get traded to his hometown Dolphins, even though they're re-signed Mostert and my name Jeff. It just makes a lot of sense for Mike McDaniel and his scheme. A lot of outside zone. Dalvin absolutely thrives in that, and also he played extremely well against the Dolphins last year. Busted 53-yard touchdown. And again, don't discount. Hey, that guy played good against us scouting. So I think it turns into a win-win. The Vikings get draft compensation. Dalvin gets to go home. Dalvin still gets paid, all that stuff. So We'll see what happens. But I think this is going down during the draft. I think 4 is given some good years to the Vikings, but it's better to move on from a player a year too early versus a year too late. And I think even though Dalvin has maybe 1, maybe 2 years good left in him, it's time to get what you can get and move on. But your thoughts are thoughts. Report Dolphins could get aggressive trying to trade for Dalvin Cook. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.